Today is the first day of the rest of your life. So join me in enjoying Barney's talk.
Good morning.
Good morning, Barney.
Well, before I do this, get started on this, let me kind of still myself and say a few words. I am here only to be truly helpful. I am here to represent Spirit which sent me. I do not have to worry about what to say or what to do, for the Spirit that sent me will direct me. I will now be healed as I learn how to heal. I vow to you conscious speech, purity of heart, and compassionate action. So today is the first day of the rest of my life. How many of us have said that before in the past? Usually around January 1st, probably, when we're ready to make our New Year's Eve resolutions. It came out, it's been around since the 50s and 60s, the late 50s. John Denver wrote a song about it. Some of the other songwriters of the time have also mentioned it in their songs. It was kind of connected to a Charles Dietrich who started the Church of Synanon down in Los Angeles. Seems that there was no place for drug rehab back in the late 50s and early 60s, and so that's how it kind of got started. There was the alcohol rehab, but the drugs that were coming out back in the 60s needed some place, so they started that. Of course, then the Church of Synanon kind of went sideways, got in trouble with government, and eventually closed down in the 80s. But why do we say today? Today's a big amount of time. I mean, you know, today, okay, does that mean 5 minutes from now? Or it's like, well, today I'll start, you know, a new life. And, but I'm going to finish dinner and make sure I have that last piece of cake before I start, you know. So when exactly? Well, I say, why not this very moment? It starts with kind of the third principle of unity, and that is we create our life experience through our way of thinking. So we have to start with our thinking. So this talk involves when that thinking takes place. Now, it's not a new belief. It kind of started originating back in the 1800s, you know, with the New Thought movement that came out back then. Unity got started with the Fillmore, and religious science got started with, you know, the Holmes brothers, and on and on. But even today, with the new studies in quantum physics, as demonstrated in the movie What the Bleep, what is out there has nothing more than possibilities. I mean, until we gaze and focus our attention on it. But this even goes back farther, many thousands of years. I've been reading a book called The Kabbalion. It's based on the Hermetic teachings from ancient Egypt. And it says that it's called transmutation. Transmutation is when we change, like the alchemist used to want to change lead into gold. Well, there's also a transmutation. And since the universe is mental, then we have a mental transmutation, we have to change the way we are thinking. Mental transmutation means the art of changing and transforming mental states, forms, and conditions into others. An art of mental chemistry, or a form of practical mystic psychology. The all, meaning God, is mind. The universe is mental, which means that the underlying reality of the universe is mind, and the universe itself is mental. So, if the universal is mental in its nature, then mental transmutation must be the art of changing the conditions of the universe along the lines of matter, force, and mind. If all be mental, then the art which enables one to transmit mental conditions must render the master the controller of material conditions, as well as those ordinarily called mental. So this was written thousands of years ago, something that the ancient Egyptians practiced. So it's not that kind of new thought, is it? And then in the Course in Miracles that came out in the mid-60s, some of you are familiar with it. In the Course in Miracles it says, projection makes perception. The world you see is what you gave it, nothing more than that. It is the witness to your state of mind, the outside picture of an inward condition. As a man thinketh, so does he perceive. Therefore, seek not to change the world, but choose to change your mind about the world. And even the Buddhist, I subscribe to a Buddhist magazine called Tricycle, sorry. And I came across an article in it. Says perception of the world is mental. Bingo, again. Therefore, we are constantly forming a mental image. The world of human experience is made of mind moments. Whatever else is really out there, which is to say the world of probabilities as described by quantum physics, our world consists of transient moments of knowing. Now what that means is everything we look at, we pick up with our senses, with our eyes, with our smell, with our hearing. It comes in as electrical vibrations, as sensations, and they travel through our neurons and they're interpreted in our brain to be solid, to be colors, to be smells, etc. But it's all happening in our mind, in our brain. So our world consists of transient moments of knowing. Again and again, we reconstruct a reality using the apparatus of the 5 aggregates. An object is known, felt, interpreted, and responded to emotionally. Then the event is over, and the coherence of that instant dissolves. Another object is served up by our senses, organs, or mind, and another moment of seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, or thinking takes place, each with its corresponding feeling, tone, a perceptual of interpretation, and volitional response. Now there are some traditions that feel there are possibly billions of mind moments in the snap of a finger. Let us take a more understandable and comprehensible approach. And let's say that there are 6 mind moments in the matter of a second. That would make 360 per minute, 21,600 per hour, and assuming 7.5 hours of sleep each night, about 356,400 mind moments in a waking day. And in the lifespan of, say, an average of 77 years, one person would experience about 10 billion discrete mind moments and episodes in their lifetime. That's it. This is the sum total of what is actually you, your world, and your life. 10 billion mind moments. Now, because the quantity of these moments are so limited, yes, the numbers are large, but they are finite, it becomes a matter of great importance that we attend to their quality. Our thoughts are like dominoes. You've seen them, I'm sure, in commercials and in certain YouTube videos, how they set up. I remember doing it as a kid, and perhaps you did. How you stack them up. That was the only way I knew how to play dominoes too, you know. Was I stack them up and push them, and they go racing down just like a wave. Well, our thoughts are like dominoes. If we place a good thought in our head, and our outward experience is a projection of our inward condition, then we're going to place good thoughts and good experiences to happen for us. So why wait till today, after dinner, or as I'm going to bed? Make that moment now to start placing those good thoughts. Events are just events until we tack an emotion onto it. Accept things. If it happens, there is no real worry about what lesson am I supposed to learn from this. There's no, things don't do things to us. All cause and effect. So cause starts in the mind. An inanimate object cannot be the cause of anything. An inanimate object is an effect of mind. So don't give something like that power over you. So it wraps up with the fifth principle of unity, that knowledge of these spiritual principles is not enough. We must live them. You must live them to fulfill your part of the oneness that is all. And that's all I have for you today.